Hello everybody and welcome to an updated buying guide for Arkham Horror the card game for 2021 and 2022. This game could change, there could be new stuff within this time, but right now we're going to be looking at all of the product at this time, December 1st, 2021. So we have the overview here. We're going to be breaking down each of these in detail. We're going to be talking about the revised core set all the way to the standalone scenarios and what they are and why you might want to be purchasing them when you're looking at this game, because there is a lot of product and sometimes some choices are better than others.
Just buy all as it comes out.
That is also great advice.
You don't have to think.
Even easier now with the campaign and investigator expansion. But we'll get to those. First, we're going to start by breaking down this new core set. So you might have heard in old discussion and even in our original buy guide where we always tell people to buy 2 copies of the core set. Luckily now, Fantasy Flight Games has rectified that problem, and you can get everything you need in just one purchase. It is more expensive than 1 core set, but I believe it is cheaper than the cost of 2 core sets, which is nice. So it's replaced the original core set, and you don't need to buy 2 copies anymore, and it also provides better storage for the game. It actually holds your cards as opposed to just being like a small box with no insert that works for it. The changes from the original core to this one, the revised core, now is 245 player cards instead of 119, and this also includes 26 notable cards from other cycles. The one that I think are most notable, even though they're very easy to proxy, are Relic Hunter and Charisma.
But none of them are new.
None of them are new,
So if you already have like all the expansions and 2 copies of the original core set, you won't get anything from this except for the new art stuff.
The new art, yeah. And the new tokens that are in there too, if you play with tokens. This also includes at least a play set of each of these cards as well. So it's not like you're only getting 1 copy of Magnifying Glass, you're getting 2 copies of Magnifying Glass. You also get a bunch of copies of Knife, because instead of having it just be like...
This is the only neutral card that you don't want extra copies of, Justin.
But, so like how it works, the difference is for this one is that instead of it being like, build the decks with these cards from your collection, each investigator has a pre-built deck that they can just come out of the box. So that's why there's so many copies of Knife. It was probably just like the original ones, maybe with some tweaks.
Unfortunate.
It also comes with its own chaos bag,
deck with Knife in it.
which actually sounds really like small, but like
it's nice.
It's nice. Now you don't need to worry about finding your own bag, because don't you just use like a...
There's a Crown Royal bag.
Yeah, a Crown Royal bag, right?
Yeah, they're nice. They feel good. They got nice rounded corners.
I don't even have a bag. I just use the lid of a fat pack from Magic.
Do you want
God. Savage.
Do you want one?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like I have... Don't judge me, I drink too much. Like I've got so many bags that used to contain bottles of whiskey.
So now luckily you won't have this problem. It'll just come with its own. Something nice for people who play with tokens is it also includes 3-count damage, horror, resource, clue, and doom tokens, and it also includes 5-count resource tokens. Just if you play with tokens, it's a cleaner way to have a better looking table space when you play. It also has new art that is included in the new version that was not in the original core set. That art is kind of just like up to preference. Some people might like more.
Debatably better.
Yeah.
Debatably worse.
Yeah, it's really just kind of like, if it's what Travis was saying. The only reason why you'd want to buy this if you already have the original core, is if you want the new art or if you want the new tokens.
Yeah, yeah. If you're a completionist, you're probably gonna want this too. But
there's nothing like functionally new.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
no.
It also plays 1 to 4 players right out of the box, which is nice. This goes back that you don't need to buy 2, and you have enough that you can, like, if you have 3 other friends, you can buy this, and you guys can play it right out of the box.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, you must have this to play all the other products.
Yes.
You need the tokens from it.
You need the tokens, and a lot of these campaigns, even the new ones that were just released, use encounter cards from the core set that aren't in those expansions.
You have to have one of these to play the game.
Yes.
Yeah, it could be the old one, it could be this one, but like this one looks a whole lot better.
Yes. Yeah. The storage is also like, it sounds like a small thing, but having, like, even the Edge of the Earth, the campaign box is a huge quality of life for storage. And having a core set that you can keep things in is actually like kind of a nice deal. All right, let's head on over to talk about continuing this new release format. So this has changed with the latest campaign expansion, Edge of the Earth. So a new release format showcases both Investigator expansions and campaign expansions. One contains all the player cards, and the other the entire campaign, so you do not need to buy Mythos packs anymore. You don't need to hunt for Mythos packs. If you want to play the Edge of the Earth campaign, you buy the Edge of the Earth campaign expansion, and player cards are not included in the campaign expansion.
It is only the story.
If you want the Investigators, or you just want the player cards, then you buy the Investigator expansion. So that comes with 5 Investigators, that's at least how it is right now, and a bunch of player cards that kind of like work together. They kind of like have like a, it's basically just like a normal campaign. All the Mythos packs are now just put into 2 separate boxes.
The Investigator one has no story.
No story.
No story.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want player cards, you get the Investigator. If you want more story, the campaign expansion. You can play one without the other either. You don't need to get the Edge of the Earth Investigator pack to play the Edge of the Earth campaign.
Can you imagine if you did, though?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty scummy.
Yeah. So like if depending on what you need for your collection, if you're craving more player cards, or if you have Investigators you want to play, but you're craving a new expansion, you can just pick up what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Also has excellent storage as well. I really like the Edge of the Earth box, and just seeing you bring that box with just everything you need in it, it's nice.
The only thing I'm really super high on, to be honest, compared, I didn't mind my old storage, but
Yeah.
I like that the notebook fits in there because it is not hole punched.
Yes, this is actually something as well that I didn't mention here, but in these new things, the campaign guide,
Yep.
it is a coiled book, so it actually is like a nice quality book.
Mm-hmm.
The only downside is that sometimes you might have to like flip through and find where you are. It's a little bit harder to get there, but someone in our Discord has said they're going to pick up like little sticker tabs that just to bookmark all of the campaign scenarios where they are, and I think that's a great way of solving that problem, if that is a problem for you.
Yes.
So this new release format is also going to be retroactively applied to all previous cycles. The only one that has currently been announced for is the Dunwich Legacy. So this was the first full cycle that came out all the way back in like 2016, so ages ago.
Yeah.
And so those Mythos packs are not going to be available anymore. So this is kind of something that to recommend going forward. If you want to buy one of the campaigns that don't have this out yet, you want to either ensure that you have access to every Mythos pack, or accept the fact that there's a bit of a risk involved with picking up Mythos packs, because they might, we don't know when they will be, like when they're discontinued.
Yeah. Odds are good that the Dunwich Legacy stuff is all
It's gone.
discontinued
Yeah,
already.
if they're working on printing this.
Yeah.
And just like you'll the only things you'll be able to find are what people have stock of. So if you are looking at closing that one out,
Start hunting.
sooner
Yeah.
the better. Yeah.
And that's something that I think applies for all of them. I imagine like some of like maybe like Dream Eaters and Innsmouth might see another
Yeah.
printing, but we don't know. Like we have no idea. They could also just be like stopping them, being like rush out these other ones, right?
Yeah, I imagine two SKUs is like a lot easier.
Oh, I imagine even for stores
them.
too, right?
Mhm.
Like
yeah.
on every
for
end
sure.
of this, like we've had all kinds of issues with Asmodee shipping stuff out because they have to ship out like a billion different things
Yeah.
in order to stock the entire line. But with these, it's just 2.
Yeah.
That's it.
Easy peasy.
And it's great for you
Yeah.
too. For as a
It's not
player.
even like really two, you know? It's only kind of one.
Well,
Yeah.
it's 2 because they're two separate products, right?
Yeah.
So they'll
Yeah,
have-
but you don't need to ship only one. They don't, like, they're integral. One of them isn't integral to the other one working.
Yeah, and on that note as well, these are like the Edge of the Earth one, campaign in one, player cards in the other. You can pick up what you need, and you don't need one to do the other, which is kind of wild to me, because like I'm so used to like, oh, I have Jim Culver, that means I have to play Dunwich because that's the campaign I have. Now you can just have those Investigators and play what you want. One other important thing about these this new release format for this stuff is that there's nothing new in them. Nothing new. So if you have them, you do not need to worry about picking them up. I believe it's even been confirmed, I'm not 100% on this, is that there's not even new art in these ones. These are just as they were, put into a new box.
Good to see it.
Which kind of like makes sense, because I think with the revised core, they did the new art because they're like, we can see players buying this if they already have it, but they're not going to worry about that for cycles because that's a lot of copies of cards you're only going to use a little bit of for the campaign stuff.
Yeah, though this one gets you extra water protection too.
Yeah.
No, that's Carcosa.
Is that not
That's
this
Carcosa.
This one gets you extra shortcuts.
Oh.
There you go. That's from this.
Yes.
That's from this
That
one
was-
100% because you always get mad at me when I suggest putting them into a deck
The
that
core
has like
deck?
core set and
No.
something else.
Not
So,
shortcut.
Always.
So we'll touch briefly on the old format. So as I said, these are likely being sunset, but you may still find these options available to you, or you may need to complete a cycle that you're already looking for. So a campaign cycle consists of a deluxe expansion and 6 Mythos packs. The deluxe expansion and the Mythos packs are all required to play the full campaign, as well as a core set, as Travis said, that's needed for everything. They both the deluxe expansion and Mythos packs contain player cards and at least one scenario, and the cycles that are still in this format are the Path to Carcosa, the Forgotten Age, the Circle Undone, the Dream Eaters, and the Innsmouth Conspiracy. Going from top to bottom, left to right, this is likely, if not 100%, going to be the release order that the new style comes in.
That makes
So
sense.
you're going to want to, the higher ones on the list, if you're still looking for packs, you're going to want to go for those. However, if you're like looking for a Phantom of Truth, which might still be really expensive, it might just be worth it for you to just buy the expansion box, the campaign box when it comes out. Because, it might be cheaper than having to buy it secondhand on eBay.
Yeah, the only other way that I could see this happening is if they just announce it all at once. But I doubt that.
Yeah.
Fantasy Flight doesn't like to do that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the more different announcement articles they can produce, the
Yeah,
better.
Yeah. And I mean, also, these things all have they'll all have the coil-bound guides, too. So, that is kind of nice.
In theory.
Yeah.
Imagine I just seeing a bunch of loose leaf.
Yeah, they're just in there.
A bunch of them
in a Ziploc
unfolded.
bag,
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about in detail what each cycle, what campaign brings to it. We did that in our previous buy guide, so you can check out that. The link I'll put it down in the description. And if you want to see us talk in detail about all of those except Innsmouth Conspiracy, because it wasn't out at the time that we recorded that, you can see that there. Otherwise, I think what's important with these is buy to availability, or alternatively, if you're concerned about that, just be patient. This product is going to come out in this new format. It'll just take time.
Yep.
Cool. Up next, we got the starter decks. So this is another thing we briefly touched on in the last one, and we're going to touch on it just as briefly here. So Investigator starter decks provide an Investigator, a deck, and upgrades for that Investigator. These cards can be added to your collection and provide a great value for their price. The pros of this, we have no new pros from our discussion of these last years, but these are a fantastic way to boost your collection of player cards, and the Investigators in these decks are simple to play and understand, making them great for new players. We have a new con this year for this product, that after getting a bit more experience with them. They only provide player cards, so players looking for scenarios to play will need to look elsewhere, and the new con is that building around these Investigators isn't as exciting as the Investigators in the Investigator expansions. After getting game time with them, for kind of experienced Arkham players, they're
not bad or anything like that.
Yeah.
Actually, most of them are very, very good.
Yeah.
They only get to play cards of one color, and they're pretty narrow in what they're looking to do.
Yes. But for new players, they're still, I think, a great purchase when you're just starting out.
Holy Christ, if you like playing green.
Yes.
Please, for the love of
For
God.
the love of God.
Yeah.
Pick up the green one. Yeah, they do have a lot of interesting new player cards, though. So if there's any one of the color, you don't need to buy them all, right?
Yeah.
You should, but you don't need to.
Yeah, and
They are a worthwhile pickup, though.
Yeah, and also, we've seen people ask, I've seen them on forums, and even some of our comments, people being like, when can I include these cards? Can I play with them in Dunwich Legacy? Player cards, you can just put in. You put them into your collection, and you can use your player cards. Unless you're doing something weird where you're doing a progress run, or building with stipulations. But if you're a new player and you're asking this question, just put it all together and build with it.
And there's something to be said for limiting your collection just so you don't get overwhelmed with deck
That is
building
true.
options.
Yeah.
But
we also have a great video understanding deck building, which I'll also put down in the description.
So
if you
many
need help
videos.
There. We have
lot of videos.
I will say right now, if you are new to Arkham and you want to learn about the game, you should subscribe to our channel. Go to our channel page. We have a new player playlist collection, which has all that stuff. We promise we will help you win more in this game. That's an actual guarantee.
Or lose less,
Lose
however
less,
however you choose to view that.
Yeah. Return 2 boxes we didn't talk about last time, and people have been asking us to talk about the Return 2 boxes, but there's really like not too much to say about them.
No, they're like really at the end of the day kind of a luxury product.
Yeah. So they provide new challenges to the scenarios of its original campaign, new player cards, and a nice storage option for that campaign. Some pros for them is they add more variety or a greater challenge to a campaign, providing more replayability. The box they store in is great storage for that campaign. See how these work with the new boxes, which one will actually stay. I personally really like these Return 2 boxes.
Me too.
Yeah, if they don't keep up with this, then riot.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like about them is like the campaign guides won't fit in them.
Yes, that is actually a very good point. Yeah, it's very good to be aware of. And then some scenarios may be tweaked so that they play better in the Return 2 box. We want to say stuff like, there was a comment in our thing last year where we talked about how like it's like patching or fixing a scenario.
Yeah.
And then like someone said that like, then that means the scenario was like, they have to fix their game after. But the thing is, this is just like it's
They don't have to.
Yeah, it's
They
a
choose to.
cooperative game, and it's just like making that scenario smoother,
Yeah.
right? It's just like making things so
Yeah.
you can you can play better with it.
Or again, adding more variety so that way like there's just more to it.
And that's the
it's
main
more playability.
And that's the main purpose of the Return 2 boxes. So the cons for them when you're just starting out especially is they have less value unless you own the entire cycle of that campaign. Like, and when I say less value, I mean almost no value. They do give you player cards.
They do
But-
give you some player cards, but a lot of those player cards are upgrades. They're
Yeah.
attempts to make like previously unplayable cards playable.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah,
and
some
then,
of them are weird build-arounds.
Yes, you also must own the campaign that it is affiliated with. If you buy the Return to the Circle Undone as pictured, you cannot play the Circle Undone with just that. You have to have all the original packs as well.
Yes.
Because this only card comes with the variant cards,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term.
Yeah, yeah. And then on that note, for new players, buying a new cycle or campaign is worth a lot more game than the Return 2 box
So
provides.
much more.
Yeah, so this is, as Travis said, a luxury product. This is like when you're at that point when you're like, I have this, I've played this campaign a bunch of times, I want to pick up the Return 2 box.
Yeah, there is something to be said if you're teaching like many different groups of people how to play for picking up the Return to the Night of the Zealot early,
Yes.
because
It does improve that one.
That actually
Oh,
probably
yeah.
is the best.
it might be
That's the
the
one.
best one. Like there are some notable parts of Dunwich that they fix,
Yeah.
or like not fix, but like
Yeah, fix.
yeah, okay, fix.
Yeah.
Like were they broken? Not really, but they don't work very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Night of the Zealot is a huge boon if you are going to be teaching more than one group of people how to play this game, because there's so much.
Especially the
that's the same.
gathering, there's just
Yeah.
nothing, and there's
Yes.
just nothing to it the first time you play.
Yep.
Another one that also is nice, the Return to the Circle Undone one, it comes with player cards that aren't upgrades. For like some of them, like there actually is some unique cards in this box. And it also comes with some cool tarot cards that have their own optional rules if you want to get funky. But I still think, I agree with Brain, is that there's one that is like worth it, it would be the
Yeah.
Night of the Zealot.
Yeah,
But
like
otherwise,
the other ones, like they're all cool and whatnot, but like if there's campaigns you haven't bought,
prior time, yeah, get those.
that's probably better.
Yeah. All right. Last thing we're going to touch on here is standalone scenarios. So standalone scenario packs provide a new challenging scenario for players to experience, and often these packs contain one scenario, but there are exceptions to this rule, which I believe the only one is Guardians of the Abyss that comes with two. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's the only one that comes with two.
It depends on how you view the epic multiplayer ones.
That's true, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a new player getting into the game, you're probably not looking at getting them for that purpose.
Yes, so most standalone scenarios are flavorful and a good challenge. I think we can all agree that they...
Emphasis on challenge for Guardians of the Abyss.
Yes.
Oh, buddy.
Yes. It's also less commitment than a full campaign. Some people, like, they might not understand that when you're just starting out Arkham, it's like, oh my god, I have to play this 8 times, and that's obviously the best part. But if you're not looking for that to just start and you just want to play a little bit, something like Murder at Excelsior Hotel is a good place to start. And these scenarios can also be added to a campaign.
So what I did when I taught my family to play, we played through Night of the Zealot, and then I had them play standalones for like 2 months.
Nice, yeah. No player cards are included in these. There are some like rewards, but there's no just player cards that you can just put in your deck just because. The difficulty level can be a lot higher in some of the standalone scenarios, like see Guardians of the Abyss. And there are much better purchases when you're just starting out.
Yeah.
That last point might be a little bit less relevant with the increased option to purchase just player cards now.
That's fair. Yep.
Where if you like, again, if you just really enjoy the deck building, you could pick up like 3 or 4 standalones and then like 2 or 3 Investigator expansions if that's really what you're into. But
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think the Guardians is a bit of a kicking.
Yeah.
yeah,
That being said, even if you don't really plan on picking any of these up, Murder at the Excelsior Hotel is like, it's a real solid pack.
it is really good. If you're gonna pick up one,
yeah.
I would recommend
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. Agreed.
If you were not going to buy any of them, think about Murder at the Excelsior Hotel anyway. It's fun. It's got a lot of replayability.
There
Probably
was
the best one.
someone in our Discord channel who posted there was like they recently just played Guardians of the Abyss and it was only like their like second time playing the game and they were like, we got absolutely slaughtered. Is this normal?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah.
There's
that's
only one
normal.
scenario I haven't beaten in this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Brent and I spent the entire afternoon playing Guardians of the Abyss, like
Yeah.
8 hours one day, and we did not win.
No.
Yeah.
No, although
I mean, we were just running like the same
Yeah.
decks into it over and over again.
to be
but
fair, we didn't try to improve our decks to.
You just
Yeah,
like
but-
to
yeah,
just like
We just kept trying.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
just
yeah.
ground our faces
Yeah.
into it.
yeah.
Yeah.
To echo what Travis said, like if you want kind of just the deck building experience, these are only like $20 Canadian each, so that's a good price. If you want the campaign, like the storytelling experience, the campaigns will be better for you there.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of these do work very well for teaching people how to play because they are different every time, or many of them are different every time. They're not all different every time.
Yeah.
They're good for that too. So then you get to have some fun still. You're not
Yeah.
just showing up and you're like, all right, ghoul,
Let's do the
ghoul priest in 3.
Oh, I remember. Do you remember our fear when the Gold Priest
Oh,
first showed
man.
up? We were like, "This thing's unkillable,"
He's got too much.
and now we're like, "Blat, blat, blat, blat."
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
the first time that we tried to fight him, though, the weapons we had access to were like the machete and the switchblade.
I was using
baseball
Yeah,
bat.
we had,
Wendy
like-
baseball bat.
Yeah, baseball bat, machete, knife, and like
Like
the switchblade.
just
Yeah.
in retrospect, trying to kill it with baseball bat Wendy. It's like,
Yeah,
What are you doing?
yeah. Our blue
You
character
idiot.
didn't even have a weapon.
yeah, yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Good
that was
times.
a mess.
Well, that is the overview of all of the, in my opinion, notable products. You might see some other things like the print and plays that are available on Fantasy Flight's website
Or the novellas.
or the novellas, but like the novellas are now out of print and will cost you like a lot of money to get. And the print and play stuff is like you're just starting out, don't even like forget it exists for the time being. If someone says parallel skids, you say I'm not listening to you. Play a bit
Don't talk to me.
and then check out parallel skids or parallel Roland. But just starting out, you can ignore that stuff
Yeah.
for right now. And also the nice thing about the print and play is it's all free. That stuff doesn't cost anything. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add, or we think we're good?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. Cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you are new to the channel, as I said, you should consider subscribing. We release an Arkham Horror video every day of the week. Yes, every frickin' day of the week there's a new Arkham Horror video. How do we do it? I don't frickin' know, to be honest. It just goes and goes. As I said, we have a bunch of great content for a bunch of deck guides that Travis built decks for new players. Some expanded guides that we are continuing to add to the channel every week. And as well as some guides on how to win, which we have heard from a lot of people were very helpful to them. So you should consider checking them out and then enjoy this excellent game. Last thing I want to do is just thank all of our patrons for supporting the channel. It means the world to us. Thank you for being awesome. Have a good one. And as always, GG's.